Yeah. How are we? Straight into it tonight. Jake, didn't expect that. Normally we go solo layout, and I was just testing him because we are coming towards the end of the season. Hello, lads. What's the rest of it, Jake?
And ladies.
You know it.
Yeah, but you won't be saying it, man, because you don't have any.
Okay, low blow already. Anyway, right, it's a League One show. How we doing? Welcome back to the League One Roundup. In tonight's episode, we are talking about the Easter weekend. We were here on Sunday and we discussed all the games on Friday and Saturday. We're going to discuss Mondays and Tuesdays, big games at the top. We'll also have a look at the penultimations of this weekend. Wigan Athletic can be crowned champions and also win promotion to the championship deservedly. So you can also see possibly AFC Wimbledon and more than likely Doncaster Rovers to be relegated this weekend. As well, we're going to discuss about the run-ins, the last 2/3 rounds of the season as well. Some big games coming up and results at this stage of the season happen that might not happen in the other weekend. So, Jake, a great Monday for you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, no, mate, I'm good. I've had a busy day at work. I've got a busy night of podcasting and being live tonight. So, looking forward to chatting League One. Always love talking to you, Ben. So, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I'm just going to come to the comments. Fleetwood AFC Wimbledon, the definition of a must-win game now. Derby are down. I've never wanted Fleetwood to win a match as much. Come on, the COD. For me, it's the biggest game in Fleetwood's recent history. I put it bigger than the playoff games because the playoff games, you've got absolutely nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. In this match, we've got absolutely everything to lose and absolutely really nothing to gain, really, bar another season in League One, really. So for me, it's a huge game of football. And again, there's going to be over 4,500 fans in there, which is going to be absolutely unbelievable. And a great offer from the chairman as well. He's quite likely to about this weekend for Fleetwood. Concussion led him out. That's what Young Wenny told a couple of the supporters off the bus the other day. He's a huge, huge miss. For me, I believe Danny Andrew could be back for the weekend as well, which would help. Can put Jules into centre half and Johnson at right back. But anyway, we're going to go into it. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? Wednesday on the march. But we're going to just quickly skim through a couple of results. We're going to start off at Bolton, Jake. Now, 3-1 win over Accrington and a bumper crowd. Now, for me, before we get into the crowd, Everett has come out and made a little dig at Wigan for me that I didn't like. And I took quickly to Twitter to have a go at him and just not even realising we play them on the final day and they could relegate my team. Wouldn't get a response with that. But for me, he said 6,000, which for me does 9,000 at every home club pretty much. Now, for me, Wigan Athletic supporters away from home are one of the best in the country. They took 400 Twitters on the Tuesday night, which got slaughtered. And these are coming from people who will never go to an away game in their life and will watch it on iFollow or Sky. You know, Wigan make great noise for the 400 that were there. And for me, the 21 points clear of Bolton, how can you certainly have a go at there? Or we get 10,000 more in our stadium than you. We're going to got 21 more points than you. They've got a better manager than you, in my opinion. They've got a better team than you. The owners, again, I'm not going to comment on because Bolton do have good owners now. So Wigan's, again, like Bolton's, are just coming into the role as well. For me, Jake, I said to you off air, Lincoln City are the best supporters I've seen at home this season. I think there was just under 9,000 that day because obviously a limited amount of supporters coming from our team. It doesn't matter how many's in. It matters as when you go, you get behind your team. And fans do not win games of football.
No, and I had this conversation with a Derby fan on Twitter this week that said that we would bring 12 to Derby, which is completely ridiculous. But no, fortunately, fans don't win you points because Sunderland would have won the league by now if that were the case. Good football people, good footballers, good managers win your divisions. And fortunately for Wigan, they've got one of those that is far significant to to Bolton. I think Ian Evatt says these things in the press to try and motivate his players. I don't know why he does it, because half the time he comes out looking like an absolute idiot. When he said his team were the best in League One, they were on a good run of form then, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to get in the playoffs like everyone thought they were going to. But no, look, numbers of fans don't win your games, Ben. It's the quality of your fans. Like you say, we don't get the gates that they do at all these big games. But time and again, Danny Cowley and Michael Appleton have spoken about how the fans can give the players a surge.
Yeah.
And even though there's only 8,000 of us, we can alter the effect of a game. Whereas, you've got your 19,000 at Bolton. Not all of them sing. Not all of them know all the songs. They don't, they can get on the backs because they've not been there a long time. So, no, I'd much rather be in Wigan's position with less fans and more points on the board, and definitely going up to the Championship rather than in Bolton.
Absolutely. And just quickly, MK Dons, Oxford, Wycombe, Wigan, they're not known for the size of the football clubs. I think Bolton's twice as big as Wigan, as I got told yesterday. But for me, I just think turn up, support your team. It's great. Bolton have a great support. Ian Evatt is a great manager. Just the press. He's like Joey Barton, just can't keep his mouth shut. He's a very good young coach who will go into big things. He's done really well at Barrow, really well at Bolton. He just needs to shut his mouth. And in the end, it will cost him. But, Jake, a great 3-1 win. Afflein and Board Valson scoring goals. We've been very much praising Board Valson since he came into the football club. Accrington Stanley have been a bit up and down since getting safe, but it's going to happen. They're trying out new different things as well. One of those.
Yeah, John Daddy Bodvarsson's really impressed me since coming in from Millwall. Really good striker in the Championship, so we shouldn't really be surprised. Obviously, Dapo Affalion's had a really good year, again, like he did last season in League Two. As for Accrington, I spoke to an Aki fan yesterday, Callum. He said that Accrington have sort of been, since they've secured safety, which they did probably 5 or 6 games ago, not mathematically, but theoretically, they've been a little bit all over the place. And there's no shame in going to Bolton and losing 3-1, because they're a good side. They've got a lot of money behind them. They've got a good squad, and they've got, well, as much as it pains to say me, a good manager. So, yeah, good result for Bolton. For Accrington, obviously, they're on the beach. I think Bolton, in terms of next season, they'll be playing for their positions, because I think there'll be a heavy turnover there in the summer. So, no, good result for Bolton, but for Accrington, I think they'll be absolutely fine losing again 3-1.
Yeah, Cambridge Charlton, a game that happened on the Tuesday. We're just going to mix and match the scores today, no particular order of them. But Cambridge again have been one of those types of sides that have fighting for the top 12 and been one of the best sides in the league this season under Mark Bonner. They won 4 of the previous 5. They've gone to Ipswich and one, gone to Wigan and won. Unfortunately, not to be today. Charlton again have been a bit up and down all season, where they've been good and then bad. Washington, Stockley, and Anike are all good players. They've won 5 of the last 8, drawn 1, lost 2. Decent result away from home.
Yeah, and going to Cambridge is not going to be easy, especially under Mark Bonner. They tend to have a good home record. I think they had a really good home record in League Two last season. So, yeah, good result for Charlton. Obviously, I think, again, similar to Bolton, their players will be playing for contracts in League One, won't they? So, yeah, good result for Charlton, I think. As for Cambridge, I think they were still on a bit of a high from Tuesday night. I don't know where Ben's just disappeared to. I don't know if he's still here. I feel like he might have disappeared. There he is. Oh, he's here.
Never disappear. Just putting you on. One of my notes went flying. Not Wigan haven't scored this time though.
Was it on a Crankshaw? Did it really on your notes anywhere? No, look. No, it wasn't. Obviously, that's a game that doesn't mean anything, Ben. I think we should probably talk about another game that had little significance, sort of in League One. I guess I'd have to turn to our game next, because looking at all the fixtures, most things had things to play for, didn't they?
Yeah.
So if you come into us, we sort of had 20 minutes against Charlton. Not Charlton. We did beat Charlton, but Cheltenham blew Cheltenham out the water for 20 minutes. They were horrendous, Ben. I don't know what's gone on. I don't know what happened to them. They didn't look the side that have been so impressive this year under Michael Duff. I get they're knackered. They've got some good players, but even Callum Wright had an off game. We saw them off with 2 goals from Morgan Whittaker and a goal from Scully. I think Fiorini played really well. Again, I think he'll be in the Championship next season. But no, 20 minutes and then the game was crap. Then nothing really happened. Atete went round the goalkeeper and had the goal at his mercy and hit the post, which was nice of him. But no, confirmed safety now. So, good result for Lincoln. For Cheltenham, I think they'll have better days, but I don't think they'll be particularly too fussed about losing a game where it doesn't mean a great deal. As long as they're here next year, which they are, they'll be more than happy.
Yeah, just 3 wins in 22 away games for Cheltenham. Again, they'll want to rectify that next year and could be a downfall for them. Now, we're going to come on to the bottom now. Again, we'll go up to the top in just a minute. We'll start off with Wimbledon against Wycombe. Now, I think it's 12 times out of 25, Jay, that in that unbeaten, on that winless run, they've taken the lead and they've not won the game of football. It's twice in a row now with 2 games where they should have gone to Crewe, lost 3-1. Wycombe at home 1-1 before the game, in my opinion, is a very, very good point. And it's their old boy who scored the winning goal in the end to win them promotion to League One, could send them back down to League Two in his final season. They're on 36 points now. Now, that is 4 adrift, but their 2 games are Fleetwood and Accrington. A huge opportunity awaits. They've only won 6 all season. Now, for me, they've not won a Saturday home game since September. They've not won a game since the 8th of December. I think on Saturday it'd be 136 games without a win. They beat Accrington Stanley last. It's just a car crash, surely.
Yeah, no, I think we've said this several times now, Ben, whilst we've been doing this show. For them to go 25 games nearly without a win, you deserve to be relegated purely for that alone. And look, in this game, by all accounts, during this run, they've not been that bad. I think they've played some decent football in a lot of their games. I can certainly remember they played some pretty neat stuff with Woodyard in midfield. They've got some good players, McCormick, and Rodoni's a really good player for the level. But this is the issue, isn't it? That psychologically, for some reason, they can't get over the fact that when they take the lead, they just can't keep it. And ultimately, I think it was Bayo Akinfenwa, wasn't it, who they released straight after they scored the penalty to get them promoted to League One, has scored a goal that could effectively end their League One hopes. And it's really disappointing because, as a fan, Wimbledon's a really good away day this season, one that I didn't particularly want to lose out on. But then you look at the other side of the coin for Wycombe, going to a team that haven't won since December, and you're only just about sneaking a point. With a team that, while wanting to get into the playoffs again, that's got to be quite disappointing. I think. Yes, you've salvaged a point, but still, you've got to be disappointed going to Wimbledon and not picking up all 3 points for me. You've
got to be, but you've got to remember, Jay, they've got their unbeaten run to 10. They've won 6 drawn 4. That's 22 points. 2.2 points a game. If they go and do that the next 2 games, I know they've got Wednesday on Saturday, which we're going to come towards the games later on in the show. It's a huge game. Again, 7,700 with 2 games to go. A lot of the stadiums sold out. Car Park not quite sold out just yet this week. But again, I think it's a decent point. You got Vokes, McCleary, and Mahetme, Hanlon, Akinfenwa, and Taz Foley all in their goal-scoring charts as well. So a decent point game. But when Fleetwood also getting a point, when Gillingham also getting a point, and Morecambe all getting a point, and even Doncaster rescue a point, we'll go to Morecambe next because they were 1-0 down in 90-plus minutes. A couple of years ago, Barry Roach, a former goalkeeper for Morecambe with over 500 EFL games to his name, scores an header that from a corner as well. Junior Younger scores, from a scramble from a corner. It can just be as important, to rescue their League One safety and keep the gap to 3 points from Fleetwood, 2 points from Gillingham, and 6 from Wimbledon, and I think it's 8 from Doncaster.
Yeah, no, really good point for Morecambe. Obviously, Pompey are one of these teams that are on the beach, as we so say. But to show that, that fight and that grit to stay in the game, even though it looked like from the highlights, decisions didn't really go Morecambe's way over the 90 minutes. look, that's a massive goal, isn't it? Look, you think Morecambe have done enough based on what they've done over the last,
5 games.
5 games. You'd think that they should be absolutely fine. But just topping up a point and keeping themselves, keeping the likes of Fleetwood, Gills and Wimbledon all at arm's length all the way until next Saturday, they will be absolutely fine with that. I think Pompey will be disappointed in the manner of the goal as well. I know from Cowley being at Lincoln that he hated conceding goals from rebounds and set pieces and things like that. So that will probably give Danny a few sleepless nights. But no, the Pompey are similar to Charlton and Bolton, but I think the story is all about Morecambe, and it's not officially done it, but I feel like they've limped over the line.
Yeah, and Morecambe again, 10 points from the last 5. Previously to that, they only picked up 9 from their previous 16 games. An unbelievable turnaround since the international break, taking points from Oxford at home, Burton at home, Charlton away, and now this game as well. They've got to go to MK Dons. Derek Adams says there's going to be no point going to sit in because they'll only get hurt when they've got the likes of Scott Twine, Troy Parrott who can unlock doors. They're going to have to go gun-ho and out for the win. And they got Sunderland at home in front of a packed-out crowd as well. Again, Doncaster, fair play to them. They've taken it to 44 games and they're not relegated yet. They basically are because they've got to win by 17 goals or nil in the last 2 games. But 3-0 down, Jake, to a very good Shrewsbury side. Adoa scoring again. I think it's 16 for the season. You got Bowman and Wally also fighting. Wally wanting that extension at the Shrews. But Doncaster, to be fair to me, even though they've been awful, they've only taken 7 points in the last 9 games of the season. If you ask a Doncaster Rovers fan 25 games ago, you're gonna still have a possible chance, very slim chance, with 2 games to go. I think everyone would have snapped your hand off.
Yeah, and at 3:45 on Saturday, it looked for all the light that Shrewsbury were going to go on and batter them, 6 or 7-0. But I think it was a good team talk from McSheffrey at half time that rallied them. I think obviously you have to play into the fact that in terms of if you're McSheffrey, you would say that look, we're not officially relegated unless results are going out against us, which they didn't. And to come back from 3-0 down in any game is really impressive, whatever level you're playing at. I think it probably makes it better for the supporters as well if there's a 94th minute equaliser in there as well. Just reward the supporters for their long trip and their support. And yeah, look, Donny are effectively down, aren't they? We've been saying this for weeks that we think they're down, but it could be confirmed on Saturday, which would be a shame for Doncaster. But really good character, some really good players they've got in this squad. Noyle had a really good year with Cambridge year before, didn't he? Rio Griffiths obviously coming from Spurs and Lyon. So, no, good result for Doncaster, I think. But yeah, they're pretty much in the mud, aren't they?
Yeah, I agree. We're going to come to your comments this evening. Charles fan, hopefully, would stay up. Good club, hopefully, mate. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the channel. Prediction for Wednesday, Fleetwood. Tough game.
Go on, Ben.
Wednesday win, just.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm prediction for top 6. We'll go into there later.
I don't know. Look, Wednesday away from home is a different story to
you
Wednesday.
You just don't like Wednesday at all.
I hate them. I want to be there next sit. No, I'm kidding. Look, I think by then automatics will be out of. It'll be out of the question for Wednesday. So I think you'll be fine.
Now on this, apparently, right. As soon as Charlie Carman got sent off, Paddy Lane got off the stretcher and walked perfectly fine, no injury. Apparently, he milked it to get the player sent off, which isn't sportsmanlike, and I don't agree with, but I'm just glad he's okay. That's all I'm going to say. I'm glad he's okay. Paddy Lane and Charlie Carman, in my opinion, they both go stunting. They both go through it. Craney and Neil Ives are going, oh, it's an old school challenge. Still a sending off in today's game. That is what they've got to realise. They both, what I don't get, why was a Gillingham free kick? That's the only thing I'm going to say. I think they both should have been sent off, and the referee made the right decision for me.
Does that mean Paddy Lane's out for 3 games?
I think so, because Cairns was only out for 1 game. But for me, I've said all season, I said it to Tony, our season relies on a number 32. Now, we've got 3 games to go, our last 3 games of the season.
And he's not
we might need some goals.
Yeah, and he's not going to be involved. That's a shame.
And also, Carlisle fan out Fleetwood don't get relegated, but if they do, it would be a nice away day. Yeah, we're going to come to Fleetwood now. Gillingham 0, Fleetwood 0. 5 wins, 6 draws, 5 defeats under Harris at the Gills. Massively improved. They were, 8, 9 points adrift. I was speaking to Matt the other day. They've got 2 games to go. They've sold out their allocation away at Portsmouth, and they're going to pack out pre-sale, I'm sure, again, for the visit of Rotherham. They lost both reserve fixtures earlier on in this season, so they'll be hoping that doesn't happen again. They've drawn the last 3 matches, but Fleetwood have only picked up 5 points from the last 8 home matches. And in the last 18 games, they've won 1, drawn 8, and lost 9. Only taken 11 points from a possible, 54 points. That, by any level of football, isn't good enough. It was a 7th clean sheet, and for me, how I've got it to go down, I've said all week Fleetwood will beat Wimbledon, and today I've started doubting myself, which I do a lot normally, but I think Fleetwood beat Wimbledon, Gillingham lose to both Portsmouth and Rotherham, or get 1 point. That still puts Fleetwood, I believe, a point in front, and I think more can stay up regardless. I think Fleetwood, with that Wimbledon game, I think that Fleetwood's game at Wimbledon is like Gillingham's game against Fleetwood. But we were just lucky we had 2 of them. They only had 1 of them, if you get what I mean. We could go there, get a point, and it sets us up nicely for Saturday, Jake.
Yeah, look, you've got to beat Wimbledon, Ben, because, look, I don't see Gillingham getting anything out of Rotherham United, especially. I know they're on bad form, but Rotherham United will have something to play for. And Pompey away, as we sort of found out, is a difficult fixture. Yes, you can sell out, but, like we said earlier in the piece, that fans don't, numbers don't mean anything. So, Fratton Park's a hard place to go. The support there at Fratton Park is unbelievable. We experienced that a couple of weeks ago. But no, for you guys, look, I think the point probably favoured you. It looked like you, from what I saw of the highlights and what I saw of your vlog, Ben, that you had some really good opportunities in that first half. I think there was one that flashed across the face of goal that you could have put away. I think it was Ellis Harrison wanted that could have tucked it away. But no, as long as you didn't lose that game, because Gillingham, you can still claw on Gillingham and you can still drag them in. And yeah, look, it's going to be tight, but you have to beat Wimbledon. If you don't beat Wimbledon, I'm afraid I think that will be Fleetwood.
All right then. Are Gillingham going to get? Did Gillingham beat Portsmouth away from home?
No, but I can see them getting a point.
I said all season I think they get something out of Rotherham. People are going to stay up on goal difference. I'm like, mate, my heart rate at 0-0 the other day was 121. Like, never mind, we're not at Bolton yet.
Yeah, look, it's bad for your health, Ben. But for the neutral, I'm really enjoying watching this, knowing that we're going to be playing one of you next season. So if you want to scrap and watch,
you're bored. You're bored at home, not enjoying football. I mean, at least we've got something to get us and go for. That's what I'm telling myself. It should be great fun. It should be great. Anyway, we're going to come on to the good sides in League One now. I'm going to go to Wednesday against Crewe. Now, Crewe, to be fair, as it's putting the temporary manager in charge, winning 1 and going to Wednesday only losing 1-0. Lee Gregory penalties, it's 12th goal of the season. It's a brilliant result for them. 50 points now at home. 2 wins over the Easter period, beating MK Dons away, which is a superb victory. And again, going late just a couple of days later, like every side do, it's tough to do. 50 points at home. That's a lot of teams' points total for the whole season, isn't it? If you want to go and get promoted, you go and say to yourself, look, there's 69 available. If we can get over 50 and we can pluck out 30, 35 away from home, we'll get into the playoffs. And that is what they've done. It's another clean sheet for them. And for me, I think there's a very thin chance, but they're still in that race for the top 2, surely.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Ben, is it the playoffs that we're talking about for Wednesday, or is it the top 2? Because if you're talking about Milton Keynes being in the top 2 race, you've got to include Wednesday, because if Wednesday beat you guys, is it Tuesday? They're a point behind MK Dons, and with 2 games to go, they're absolutely in it, aren't they? So no, look, it's interesting. obviously, I think they absolutely dominated Crewe by looking at the stats. I mean, I've not watched the game back, but 19 shots to Crewe's 1. And it was a penalty from Lee Gregory, who, Ben, I think we said this before, haven't we? I think we said this on, was it Sunday? We did the last one. Gregory scores 1, he goes on a run. And Gregory is going on a run. And it's the perfect time for a centre forward to go on a run when you've got something to play for towards the top end of the table. And fortunately for Wednesday, they're doing all right. And look, I think automatics is a stretch for Wednesday at this minute in time. I wouldn't put it past them, but I think it's a stretch. I made myself look a bit of an idiot.
Off, mate.
They need. Yeah, no, they do need to win on Saturday. But Wycombe away is going to be a hard game because Wycombe are so good at home.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting game. Look, I think Wednesday will have to settle for the playoffs. I don't think their fans will like me to say that. They might win the playoffs, but they're definitely one of the form teams going into the playoffs. But it's so difficult, Ben, because League One at the top end is so good and it's so tight. Like, I know we've not spoken about them yet, but Oxford United, we were absolutely burying them, weren't we, on Sunday, going, yeah, Oxford not making the playoffs, not a chance, nothing. And then they can pull.
You said that. I never said that. Don't put me in your category, bud.
And then they go and beat Oxford.
I still think it's a long shot, mate. With Oxford, for me,
it is a long shot.
It is a long shot, but 2 wins in 2. That win over MK Dons, mate, is a superb victory. And Bowden, it's a good finish, really good finish. Smashes it home, near post. I must admit, the goalkeeper, I was questionable of. Seeing the game back, I thought could possibly do better with two of the goals. Yeah. And he just gets absolutely mugged off for the third one. Barry Bannon, for me, we talk about Scott Twine, but technically ability, that left foot of his is the best in League One by an absolute distance. He can spray a ball, he can pass the ball, he can control a football. League One is a fairly simple league. If you can head the ball, kick the ball, run, battle, fight, and score the odd goal, you can make it in League One. Barry Bannon has an ability to bring the ball down from whatever distance, from whatever height, pass the ball as far as you want, whatever technique. Barry Bannon shows you different things that you've never seen in football before. Scott Twine does things that good footballers do. Now, for me, that is the difference between Barry Bannon and Scott Twine. They're both very unbelievable talents, but what I prefer to watch Barry Bannon for 46 games of a season than Scott Twine.
Is Bannon your player of the season then?
No. But it's mad me saying that, but you can't go past Scott Twine for what he's done this season in an MK Dons side, because without him, I just think with Barry Bannon, I think he has more of an impact I think Scott Twine has more of an impact in goals/assists. And without that, I think if Scott Twine doesn't score or assist, I look and I think, what's he done today? Whereas with Barry Bannon, he can make that long ball forward that Greggy can win on and Mendes Lang will finish off. Something like that, or he'll win the ball back on halfway and sprint forward with it, or he'll make a run into the box where a defender gets caught out and he'll make room for Lee Gregory to poach home. That is the difference for me between those two footballers.
Is Scott Twine your player of the season then? Because he's not mine.
So again?
Is Scott Twine your player of the season then? Because he's not mine. I think
for me, he's got to be up there, Scott Twine. I think my other players, I've got Will Keane in there. I think Will Keane scored 23 goals in the League One season. By the way, I think he'd only scored 16 goals in his career before going to Wigan. I think he's got 35 and 83 since going to Wigan. And unbelievable there. I think you've got to have Stockton up there. I think Stockton.
Yep.
If you go on goal of the season for 10 league goals of the season, I think you maybe get 4 Cole Stockton goals in there. The one at Fleetwood, the one home to Wimbledon. Cambridge away, and possibly that neat finish away at Oxford. That's a really tough finish where I think he just flicked the ball into the goal. There's a lot of Cole. I think he's got to be up there.
And he's my player of the season, Ben. Cole Stockton.
Because without him, Morecambe would have been gone 10 games ago.
Yeah, agreed. Right, Ben, where are we going? Where do you want to go? We can go to Plymouth. Do you want to go down to the southwest? Should we go down and speak about Plymouth, Sunderland?
Yeah.
That was on Sky, wasn't it? But I wish it wasn't, because it was a bit crap.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Obviously, I was at my own game. I didn't even know it was on Sky, to be honest with you, mate. No winning 3 for Plymouth, though, Jake. For me, you've got an inexperienced manager there, a very good manager in Stephen Schumacher, a very passionate and scouts manager. They're all the same. Him and Ryan Lowe are basically two peas in a pod. He's basically him, just a bit, different. 1 winning 5. They've only scored 1 goal in 5 matches, though. And next up, Wigan away. All right, next up after that, MK Dons at home. You've got to beat the best. You've got to play the best. Now, Sunderland, for me, though, Jake, I'm really impressed with their attitude since the new manager come in. He wasn't the prettiest on the eye, but I said at the time to you, and we talked on the show, I went, for me, it's the best that they could get because he's tactically knowledgeable. He will get them into the playoffs. He will get them winning games of football. And his play style might not be a Stephen Schumacher or a Liam Manning type of way, but he will get results out. He will win ugly and he will win games of football that ultimately they weren't winning. And going to Plymouth and drawing 0-0, I think, is an exceptional result. The support, by the way, I think they sold out 400 miles away, 650 kilometres away, to be precise. An unbelievable point. I think that's 6 wins and 4 draws in the last 10. They played some good sides in there, the likes of Oxford, obviously Plymouth as well, Charlton. But what also they've done, Jake, is they've done something that they didn't do 2 or 3 years ago. They've beaten sides at the bottom foot of the league. They beat Gillingham at home in the last minute of the game. They beat Fleetwood after being 1-0 down. They beat Crewe. Now there, if you can win those games of football, I looked with 10 games to go, I had them down for 79 points. I think for me, the last 3 games of the season, I've got them down to get 7 points and get into the playoffs.
Look, this game for me, Ben, yes, it's an impressive result for Sunderland. But actually, I sided with Plymouth. I think it's a better result for Plymouth purely because they're keeping Sunderland just at arm's length at the minute, and they're just picking up a point where constantly picking up points is really important. And they've just kept Plymouth at arm's length, and they're keeping sides like Wednesday and Wickham all just sort of away from them a little bit, aren't they? Look, it was a bit of a boring game. I mean, obviously, like you were at Gills, I was at Lincoln Cheltenham, so I didn't actually see the game. But watching the highlights back, Sunderland played well. They do away from home anyway, don't they, under Alex Neil? It's difficult because I can see Sunderland picking up a lot of points. And in terms for Plymouth, they've got 2 tough games left of the season. They're really going to have to earn the playoff spot with Plymouth, aren't they? If they can get a point out of Wigan and MK Dons, it'd be a good return. But is 80 points going to be enough to finish you in the playoffs this year?
Ridiculous.
I don't think it is.
Any other season, you get 77 points, you get in. You might not be able to get in with 81 points this season.
It's ridiculous. It's honestly, that just shows you.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And there is such a gap, which is why there is such a big gap from 11th down to 12th, 8-point gap. And that's it, isn't it? You can see the sides that have got money to throw around this year, haven't you? You can see the sides that haven't, just by looking at the league table. Yeah,
agree. Oxford then, just quickly, great result at home. I know we've quickly touched on it. Belgium with a goal. It puts them back in. They've got to go to Rotherham and they've got to play Doncaster. Now, I think if they get 4 points, they're in within a shout. I think they beat Doncaster at home comfortably. But that Rotherham game is make or break. I could see them going to Rotherham and winning. Because I think his motto will be, right, they've lost 4 of the last 5. They're a bit vulnerable. They are what we were 2 games ago before we went to Fleetwood and won. Get at them. You know how they feel. Get in the face from minute 1, score an early goal, shut them out, get a number 2, and then we beat Doncaster next week. And the message has to be, if we win both games of football, we're in the playoffs.
For me, and I think that Oxford can take sort of comfort from the sides that have gone to Rotherham in recent weeks and won. You think of Shrewsbury, they went there and turned them over quite convincingly. I know they've lost a couple of games at home as well, but that Shrewsbury one really sticks out. And look, if Oxford win both games, there is a high chance they're in the playoffs. Do I think they're going to win both games? No, I don't. I look, Rotherham is a tough place to go, but they were back on track at home at least. We ignore what happened on Tuesday, but at home, beating Ipswich was a great result for them. So look, but it's so difficult. I don't really want to call the top six because I feel like whichever way we say, we could say a different combinations each, and it genuinely could be completely different, couldn't it? You look at last year in League One, you sort of knew the teams that were in the top six all season pretty much. But this year, there's just something about League One and the fact that it's just so topsy-turvy. I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a clue.
A great question there for you, Jake.
Fiorini, interesting. Really poor first half of the season. Then he showed up for a couple of months, got dragged out of the team for a few poor performances, but now looks outstanding, Tony. Outstanding. I don't know if you saw the pass, Ben, for our first goal from Fiorini to Whittaker. Wow. I think Appleton thinks he'll be in the Championship next year. I'm starting to think the same way.
Yeah. Again, Burton beating Rotherham. Now Rotherham are void of confidence. 4 out of 5 that they've lost. Oxford, Sunderland, and Gills to come. Ooh, I worry about them because they're going to get into the playoffs, deservedly so.
Yeah.
But they're going to go into the playoffs if they don't get that top 2. Void of confidence.
Do you believe in that myth though, that if you've been gunning for automatic promotion all season, you believe in it? The fact that if you miss out on automatic promotion, you don't then get. Okay, I take your point. I would say Blackpool, perhaps. I know they weren't gunning for automatic promotion all season last year.
They were they were 13th with 10 games to go.
Yeah, but the run they were on, Ben, they could have finished in the autos quite comfortably.
Yeah, they could have, but I think they won like 8 of the last 10. But results didn't go the way. Rotherham have been in the top 2 all season. That's the difference between them and Blackpool. Blackpool were never there. Blackpool had nothing to lose and were on an unbelievable run, to be fair to them. Where Rotherham were top of the league, 9 points clear. I think they were 12 points clear, played 2 more games. So they still had a 6-point advantage, Jake.
Do you think if Rotherham fall into the playoffs, they won't win them?
It depends who's in them. Because for me, if Wickham run him, I fancy Wickham. But Wednesday, Wednesday, Rotherham at home, I think if Wednesday play Rotherham at home in the playoffs, I think Wednesday beat them at Hillsborough 2-0. And I think they can go to the New York and shut them out.
That's interesting.
It's the playoffs though, Jake. Anything can happen.
Yeah, no, agreed. I just, do you know what? It's probably purely because of how good they've been all season, not just this last 7-8 games. I just feel that Rotherham are going to finish in the automatics purely because every time they're in League One, they do. And
you always get out.
Paul Warne finds a way, and look, Paul Warne is a quality manager for this level and the level above. So I have no doubt in my mind that he will sneak them over the line with every inch of his bold head, and I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get promoted automatically. They've had a tough run, but they've still got that game in hand, which is massive, haven't they? And if they win that game in hand, Ben, they go 3 points clear with 2 games to play. You then thinking, well, we can afford to get four points and 2 and still not be caught. Do you know what I mean?
Do you fancy them to beat Sunderland away from home? Do you fancy them to beat Sunderland? I don't. I think Sunderland win that game.
Yeah, I think I would back Rotherham. I think over Sunderland. Yeah, 100%.
So you think Rotherham will go to Sunderland and win?
Yes, I do.
Fair play to you. Now again, Wigan, great result for me. Another late goal, Jake. That is 20, by the way, between the minutes of 75 and 90 plus. That is the second most in the division behind Bolton, who've got 25 as well. But they've only conceded 5 goals in the last 15 minutes. Wigan Athletic have basically put themselves from a team that would be scraping into the playoffs to winning the league in style by just being unbelievably classy, solid in the first 75 minutes, but having those match winners in the last 15, 20 minutes. Will Keane, Callum Lang, James McLean, McGuinness, Wyke earlier on in the season. It is such a great trait to have.
Yeah, and league winners have that sort of trait. You think of the Man Uniteds from the early 2000s and the 90s. How many late goals did they score under Ferguson? So, no, look, really impressive with Wigan. I think, yes, they've had the busy schedule, haven't they? They played, I think it was 9 weeks. They played Monday, Saturday, Tuesday every week. But that hasn't seemed to have affected them. I understand it probably did in the Cambridge game, but still, to pick up the amount of points they have done whilst playing that amount of games in that short amount of time, phenomenal. Deserve to win the league, I think. They've been the best team. Probably not the best team I've seen play this season, but in terms of being able to win a league, in terms of have the qualities that a title-winning team have, they've got them in abundance. They're tight. They can be tight at the back. They've got goal threats all over the pitch. They're dangerous, and I think they're going to do all right next season as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do something similar to what Blackpool have done in the Championship this year.
For me, I think that Wigan Athletic have to have a 50-point deduction because they only had 9,000 fans in the stadium. I mean,
yeah, good point.
You've got to remember, fans wouldn't know. For me, Lang, baller. Will Keane, phenomenal. Amos in goal, steady. Derrick went right back. Probably been not as good to his standards, but still solid. You've got McLean, you can play in multiple different positions. Kerr, that block off the line against Bird saved him a point. It's huge. That anyone else, they give up on it. Not this Wigan Athletic side.
Keller Watts done really well.
Yeah,
Looks different player from when he was at Plymouth last year, didn't he?
100%. They just look a side full of confidence, and that comes from the owners to the manager, who, by the way, they just avoided relegation last year. And what I like about Lang, we said it, he's had maybe 4 loan spells. Obviously, Oldham, Morecambe, and we went to Motherwell as well.
Shrewsbury.
Again, he's been all over the place. He got in last year, and that's the only good thing that came out of their administration, nearly losing the football club.
Yeah,
I did. I personally put some money in myself that I made from a Wigan stream as well. And I'm so glad to see them back where they belong at the top of League One and hopefully get a good finish in the Championship. For me, he is the best thing to come out of that because Callum Lang came out of that and now they've got an absolute ball on his hands. And we say, Jake, patience comes to those that wait and good things happen to those. Will Keane and Callum Lang are examples for me as well. Jake, before we go on to a quick look at the important games on Saturday, give your channel a plug.
Yeah, so the Stacey West podcast will be recording tonight. I recorded yesterday for the channel. So the Stacey West on YouTube, trying to get to 500 subs before the end of the season. So we've got 50, just under 50 to get in 2 weeks, which hopefully you guys can help me out with. Also, come and follow me on Twitter, Jake_Tong at 98. I'm sure Ben will be lovely enough to mention my name in the description, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll put it in at the end of the show, so make sure you give it a follow. And also, guys, we are 84 subscribers away from my end of the season goal. I set back in August at 8,500 subscribers. So if you could subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends to do so. That'd be massively appreciated. Also, if you could like the stream as well, it goes a long, long way. Again, we're just going to skim through the nothing games, the beach games. Again, Aki, away for you on Saturday, Jake. Yep. Looking forward to that, mate.
Yes, mate. Fancy dress, couple of beers.
Are you going as yourself?
Yes. I'm going as, I don't know if you know the character. His name's Ben Knapman. He's a bit of a geek. He's about 3'10", wears glasses, has a dodgy skin fade,
Looks like Harry Potter.
And claims to support a football team. Looking forward to it, Ben. I'm going to be hammered. I'm in fancy dress, and it means absolutely nothing in Lincoln City in League One next season. So, voila.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fancy dress. Sounds like me when I picked you up when you came down a couple of weeks ago.
Brilliant.
Charlton Shrewsbury. Again, Shrewsbury have been solid pretty much. Shrewsbury and Charlton, one of those seasons, a season of to forget really. One of those that another year's gone by and nothing really has happened. For Charlton, a lost year. For Shrewsbury, just another solid year, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Cheltenham, Bolton. Cheltenham, really good season at home. Bolton, much improved, Jake. And for me, I think that's another game that you can just look and go, right, let's win this game. I think Cheltenham will be looking to finish on 60 points, won't they?
Yeah, no, look, Cheltenham are really impressive at home. They were awful on Monday, so I'm pretty sure Michael Duff will want to resurrect that. Obviously, the speculation about him and the Burnley job won't go away. I understand they're probably preferring to appoint Chris Wilder, but Michael Duff is still being mentioned. So perhaps if he wants to get that job, it might be a really good opportunity for them to be a team not too far down the road from Burnley.
Exactly. Crewe Ipswich, I think Ipswich will want to win that. Again, I think they're 4 points worse off than they were this time last season. Doncaster Burton, I can see Doncaster maybe nicking it 1-0, something like that.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Ben? They're going to win 15-0. Stay up a goal difference.
To be fair, Burton of late, they've kept 4 clean sheets in a row, unbeaten in 4. Before that, I think they conceded 18 goals in the previous 6 games. So they've done a really good job turning that.
Can I ask you a question, Ben? Can I ask you a question? What would you do if Doncaster stayed up on goal difference and you went down?
Right, okay.
Or something.
I've thought about this.
Because 17 goals over 4 games is quite doable in terms of if Doncaster. Well, listen, no, because if Doncaster win 4-0, 4-0, and Gills lose 5-0, 4-0.
Yeah, that's Gillingham. I don't care about them.
Right, okay. Well, if it's Fleetwood, then how many goal difference are they behind? What
they
are
are.
you? You're minus 17. Oh, crikey, it has to be 30. Never mind. I'm not catching you.
There we go. But imagine if it did, right? I'll tell you what, if it did, I'm gone.
Yeah, but if you lose your next 3 games, right, and Doncaster, oh no, they can't get 39 points. They can only get 40. If Doncaster stay up over you, oh my goodness.
He won't. Don't worry about that. You know something? I'm not thinking about it. Fleetwood, Wimbledon on Saturday, right?
Don't mean anything, mate. Crap game.
Fleetwood against Wimbledon, right? Fleetwood Town, 43 games played. They have won just 8 games. 8 pathetic games we have won this season. We have drawn 15 and we have lost the others. Like
20,
for me,
20
games is a lot of games to lose.
It's a lot of games to lose.
It is. And
we've lost 21. So
now for me, right, I'll tell you a kind of quick story now. Wimbledon haven't won in 25 matches. Now, I remember it was early in the season, September. I think it was the year that Fleetwood finished 4th, right? Under Uwe, we went to Rochester. I think they had about 5 points all season. They hadn't won a game. They beat us 2-1. They go and win the next 10 home games after that. Now, for me, I have thought all week that Fleetwood will win this game, and I've been really confident about that. But today, I've had a few doubts. The more I've thought about it, the more doubts in my head. I do think Fleetwood get the job done, but I don't think they get anything from Wednesday. And for me, I think it still goes to the last day where something could happen.
I hope not for your sake, Ben, given what you tweeted about Ian Everett.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you what, if they stay up now after I tweeted calling him a bit arrogant, and
I think that's another Wigan have scored moment, isn't it?
It'll be worse. Honestly, right? Gary, is that you? Are those plane tickets still available to Papua New
Guinea?
Yeah. You know, I'll just have a break from YouTube.
Really?
Again,
what a good time in that then.
For me, right? You know, I'm going to put a bet on a £10 bet. Fleetwood to beat Wimbledon, Portsmouth to beat Gills. Though I think Portsmouth will play a couple of their youngsters on Saturday, and MK to beat Morecambe. It returns 60 quid from a tenner, so it'll be a really good day. If we win, a couple of pints, perfect. MK Morecambe. Now, Morecambe, I think if they get a point, they're safe from their next 2 games, in my opinion. And I do think they get it but I don't think they're going to get away at MK Dons. Like MK Dons will want to go out for jugular, and it may help Morecambe because they can use a younger, Stockton's physicality of holding the ball up, bringing it into play, and little knock-ons as well. Those types of players, Jake.
Yeah, but MK Dons struggled against Doncaster, didn't they, at home? So you never know. Yes, MK Dons are very good at football. They're a very good football side. But Morecambe will be thinking, Doncaster came in and won. We're a lot better than Doncaster. So, with Derek Adams and the form they're on, as you say, 10 points over 5 games, there is no reason why they can't go there and play MK at their own game and go and get a result.
Absolutely. And Portsmouth Gills. Somewhere Gills have had a couple of bit of success of late.
Difficult. I really hope Danny Cowley puts one on them. I really do. And I know he should be watching. Tom from Fauna Written All Over It has told me he's watching. So I hope you win, Tom. Please win, because I do not want to go and stand in that pissing away end at Gillingham with no roof. So no, if you could win, and purely for Ben's sanity as well, I think that would be much obliged from this stream. So thank you, Tom. Thank you.
For me,
any words, Tom? Any words, Ben? Any words, Ben, on Portsmouth? Are you gonna say anything?
I think it's been one season that I expected them. I think they're still miles off the other 6 clubs. I think if I was a Portsmouth fan, I'd be licking my wounds, going, well, why aren't we up to this standard? Why aren't we competing with Wednesday? Why aren't we competing with Wycombe? Why aren't we competing with Oxford? We've got decent players here. We've got, they're all right at football. They've proved that over the last, some of them 2 or 3 years, some maybe a bit longer. Some other football clubs like a Harness. I think for me, it's a missed opportunity this year, if I'm honest with you. And I'm very critical of Portsmouth because I want Portsmouth to do well. They've got a great support, great ground. I think their owners maybe need to spend a bit more money, but I think everything that they do is in the best interest of that football club. And I don't think it's like any other football clubs that have got dodgy owners, like you see Birmingham in the Championship, who will, in my opinion, will be relegated next season. You got Rotherham as Oxford. I think it's going to be a tight game. 2 really good sides that just need a result. Sunderland, Cambridge, for me, Jake, I think a home win. I think it's huge to get a home win because it gives them a little bit of respite going into 2 tough games. Yeah,
but Cambridge have been party poopers over the last couple of weeks. So, look, no one expected them to get beat Ipswich. Nobody expected them to beat Wigan. So I think Mark Bonner will be using that to his advantage when they go up to the Stadium of Light. And look, it's similar to Morecambe going to MK Dons. Granted, Cambridge are a lot better than Morecambe. And the gap probably is a bit closer to these teams. But Sunderland will be buoyed by the fact that they've got something to play for. So I think Sunderland will probably do them at home.
A bit like a Brighton of League One, aren't they? Where Brighton have gone to Arsenal and Spurs in recent weeks and, got positive results as well. Now, Wigan can win the league against a very good Plymouth side. Now, Wigan have got a boosted crowd as well at home, which is good to see as well. But again, last time we had a boosted crowd against Bolton, they were a bit flat and they were a bit tedious, and they don't normally play well in front of those bigger crowds. Obviously, only getting a draw in front of 20,000 odd the other day. For me, Jake, I think if you can get a point out of this and win the next game, the title's done. They just want to win it in style now.
Yeah, and these games, Ben, the games that draw the bigger crowds draw bigger pressure. So, they're going to have to hold the nerve. They might have to ride the wave at times. Obviously, Plymouth are not a bad side themselves and still have something to play for. But I would expect Wigan to come back from the defeat against Cambridge, and especially at home, they want to right the wrongs from that. So, no, Wigan to win the title for me on Saturday, I think.
I agree with that. Now, Wycombe Wednesday, for me, the biggest game of the weekend, because for Wednesday, it's huge. The money that they're putting in towards a squad, where Wycombe, they've got nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. It's their pitch, it's their park, it's their ground, and they're going to have to show Wednesday and have that attitude that they've had so many times over the last 2.5 years, nearly 3 years now. This plan, and Wednesday have been good at home. They've been a bit dodgy away. Get at them early, and for me, I think Wednesday are a really good side, but I think Wycombe could grind them down.
Reeks of a 1-1 to me, Ben. Both
I think a
teams,
draw would suit both clubs.
two teams that are terrified to lose but want to win. I can see it playing out 1-1, which would be a good result for both sides.
Agree. For the last 5 minutes of the show, guys, if you've got any questions, let us know. It's that part that we can just go a bit free roam. We've gone through all the results. Again, the table is looking really close. You've got Gills 40 points, Morecambe 42 points, Fleetwood 39, Wimbledon 36, and Donny should go this weekend as well on 34.
Imps 49. Imps 49.
Yep.
Imps
What?
49. Imps 49.
All right. How many points worse off than last season?
Don't really care. Are you going to be in the same division for 3 years running like we are?
Hopefully. We've been in it we'll be in it for the 8th year running, mate. 8th year running.
Oh, cute.
Ben put the stone on just in case the postman asks for a scrap. You know. Come on.
It's in case any Blackpool fans knock on his window. He's going to absolutely run them ragged.
I'll be hiding through the gates next week. Calm down. Oh, mate. I'm worried. Stressed.
He's shaking, Ben. He's shaking.
I don't
Shows your hand. He's shaking.
My money's on Gregory to score. He's been on a roll up the Owls. Again, who's getting the playoffs?
Oh, Ben, no.
We're not answering that.
I can't do it. Ask me in a week's time. Ask me
a week on Saturday about
3 o'clock.
1:15.
3 o'clock.
Ask me again about 2:10, about 5 minutes of the season to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you still might get it wrong, Ben.
I know. We would, wouldn't we?
We would.
Derby Day Saturday, we could send Oldham down if results go our way. Yeah, that sounds good. But for me, Oldham, I like Oldham as a football club, and it's a shame to see that for the supporters. Derby days are always good, but I don't think Oldham will be too bothered about Salford as a derby, though, Jake.
No, I don't think anybody's bothered about Salford. If I'm honest, they're just I don't know. I can't even describe them. I'm just not a fan. They're not coming up to League One next year, are they? And everyone thought they would just bypass League Two, but they found it a bit more difficult than probably what they were expecting, aren't they?
Agree. Burnley are 1-0 apparently. Sunderland going up again. They're going to put themselves in the right position. For me though, Jake. Again, we're going to end the show here, Jake. Any final words on the side? Some big games. What are we saying? I tell you what. Before we go
on.
Right. I want you to quickly. We'll do our score predictions. Accrington Lincoln 1-1.
Lincoln Accrington.
Accrington Lincoln, yeah.
4-1 Lincoln. I think we're going to have a beautiful day in the sun.
Charlton Shrewsbury 2-0 Charlton.
0-0.
Cheltenham Bolton 1-0 Cheltenham for me.
1-1.
Crewe Ipswich 2-0 Ipswich for me.
3-0 Ipswich for me.
Fleetwood Wimbledon 2-1 Fleetwood for me.
2-0 Fleetwood.
Good boy. Doncaster v Burton.
Burton. You've gone Burton. Doncaster Burton.
Just
15-0 Doncaster.
Either 1-0 Doncaster or like 3-0 Burton. That's the way it'll play out. MK 2-0 against Morecambe for me.
2-1 to MK.
Port Gills 1-0 Portsmouth.
3-1 Portsmouth.
Rotherham Oxford 1-1.
1-0 to the Millers.
Sunderland Cambridge 2-0 Sunderland.
1-1.
I don't think it's vintage with Sunderland, but I think they get the job done for me. Wigan Plymouth, I think they get the job done on Saturday 2-1 for me.
Yeah, 1-0 Wigan for me.
Wycombe Wednesday 0-0.
Well, I've said it 1-1, haven't I? I said 1-1, so I have to stick with it.
There we go. Jake, any final words before we
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's interested in more League One content, I have loads coming out today because I am, as you know, some of you may know Gab Sutton on Twitter. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug this.
Encyclopedia.
I am doing. Gab Sutton is doing a League One mid-table meandering chat. Kicks off in about half an hour, and I will be on there discussing all things Lincoln. So feel free to come and abuse me in the comments. I'm all for it. Go and listen. Go and watch the YouTube. Go and give us a follow. Massively appreciated. Look, it's been really fun doing these with Ben this year. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Ben splashes the cash to keep me next season, because I tell you what, I think I've had a bit of goal scoring form, and I think I might cost a few bingity bucks. So no,
Couple of VKs, 2 for 5 on a Friday night.
I'm sold. There you go.
There we go. Will Keane for me. Jake, quickly.
Cole Stockton.
Right, okay. Again, thanks very much for watching, guys. You know, your support is massively appreciated. Again, it does go a long, long way. So make sure you subscribe down below. We're so close to 8,500 subscribers. And also like the live stream if you have enjoyed it. Again, we'll be back on Monday as well with this one as well. Again, 7 o'clock. And we'll hopefully have a show, an extra show for you next Thursday. All things going, if everything goes well, talking about the bottom side and the top side with some guests. Jake, up the cards, mate.
Up the imps, Ben. We'll see you next week.
Enjoy Accrington away, my friends.
I will do.
And I don't think I'll enjoy Wimbledon.
No, I wasn't. That's why I didn't say it.
I don't mind you. Anyway, guys, big over and out. Thanks to everyone who's watched. Up the cards.
Up the imps.
Yeah, of course.